Good morning and thank you everyone for coming. My name is Gary Consorto. I'm the General Manager for the Solivita Community Association. I'd like to call to order the annual meeting, December 5th, 2016. Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. For a roll call, please, would the board members please identify themselves and their title.
Good morning. Chris Davis, Vice President of Construction for AV Homes and Secretary of the Board.
Dan Young, Development Manager, Vice President of the Board.
Good morning. Tony Ariel, Vice President of Development and President of the HOA.
Thank you, gentlemen. We have established a quorum with the 3 current board members in attendance. I'd like to follow into some introductions. We'll start with the, sitting with the board is David Halpern with the Halpern Law Group, who is the association attorney of record. For ELM, Evergreen Lifestyles Management, Craig Carmichael, President and CEO. Angelica Rice, Director of Client and Homeowner Services. Mandy Morgan, Regional Manager of Central Florida. Wendy Herkenrath, Director of Finance. For the Solivita staff, I've asked everybody from the staff that does anything with the association to show up today, which is a little bit different than we've done in the past because the salaries are an issue that has come up in questions because it is substantially different than it has been in the past. Compliance Department, Dottie Plykin, Community Standards Manager. Yolanda Santiago, Compliance Coordinator and Inspections. Sally Shikanis, Compliance Coordinator. Site Accounting, Sunita Basan. Administrative Assistant in the back of the room, closing the doors, Raj Hanuman. Communications, Carolyn Rowe. Membership, we are missing Vicki Kellogg today. She is on a temporary leave dealing with her husband's illness. Membership Coordinator, Etha Zapata, Assistant Membership Coordinator. Site Services, also known as Community Experience Manager, Rudy Batista. Safety and Security, Joe Murphy, Director. For the Solivita Club, Sherry Wolfschlager, General Manager of the Solivita Club. I did better this time, didn't I?
You did my name good.
I butchered it last year. I apologize. Elizabeth Decker, Fitness and Wellness Director. Soon to embark on a new venture, and we wish her all the luck. From Floralon, the branch manager, Brad Thompson. In accordance with the Florida state statute notice, everything was mailed to the members to their mailing address on file on or about November 10th, 2016, dated November 7th, 2016. For the minutes approval, in the interest of time, we will not be reading the 2015 annual membership meeting minutes. These are included in the agenda package. Has the board had time to review these minutes, and if so, are there any comments? With no comments, may I have a motion to accept the minutes?
I'll make that motion.
Chris Davis made the motion, seconded.
I'll second.
Dan Young seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Let the record reflect the board has passed the 2015 meeting minutes unanimously. At this point in time, we offer a question and answer period. Hopefully after we've gone through the financials, it will resolve or answer some of your questions, but you have this opportunity, if you so choose, to go ahead and ask some questions. We recently emailed out, I think it was Thursday of last week, a number of questions that had been received, and hopefully everybody got them and had the opportunity to review them, and maybe they were helpful in answering some of the questions that you might have had. The next part of our agenda is the financial review. As you can see, we had a fair amount of questions. This represents 2015 actuals against 2016 projected. The assessments are roughly $300,000 more in 2016 as opposed to 2015. Our expenditures we expect to be just a little bit less than what we expended in 2015. And our reserve balance as of October 2016 is slightly under what we started with at the end of 2015. It is projected that that number would go up approximately $32,000 by year end, so it would still be slightly under. The current financials through October, I'm going to jump to the bottom one where it actually says that those financials are now posted on the website under the current year financials. So if you wanted to look at just those in their entirety, you can go through March through October for the 2016 fiscal year. Our operating account through October 31st is $352,128.05 as of October 31st, under budget. But I wanted to point out that over $207,000 of this had to do with the water irrigation, which is not being billed. So therefore, we are under that much within just that one line item. So we are roughly $145,000 under budget through October. We have improved our internal management, both of the landscape vendor and hopefully also the security personnel team. And we've also renegotiated some out-of-contract services, which helped us save some money during the course of this year. For 2017, we eliminated the budgeted line item cost for the irrigation water. We've had an increase in the association personnel as it has been properly allocated for those that are actually performing work for the association, where in the past that had been carried by the club personnel. The largest differences between the two represent the membership department as well as the communications department, which in the past we did not contribute to. We've got a new landscape maintenance contract and we've increased the specifications. I'm going to leave further conversation to that to Mr. Donovan when he gives his report as it relates to the efforts of the landscape committee in improving the specifications throughout the community. We also, in 2017, have a specific per household reserve fund allocation. If you go onto the website and look at the reserve study that was done, right now that reserve study calls for a $14 per month household contribution to the reserve fund to handle our community going forward. We have implemented only a $5 a month increase for this year in trying to do this in stages as opposed to all at once. The reserve study was done extremely conservative, which is good for the study, but we believe we can get to where we need to be in a time frame as opposed to trying to impact everybody all at one time. This is the budget comparison between 2016 budget, the actuals through 2016, as well as the 2017 budget. the income items, the major difference there is in the past we had budgeted for late fees, interest, as well as some collection fees, and predominantly the collection fees is a money in, money out. It does not impact the dues that are due to the association. It is only the expenditures that the attorney goes through to collect and the penalties in collecting those. So those ended up as a washout in years past. So tracking that seemed to be kind of duplicitous in order to come up with what was coming in and what was going out when they balanced out anyway. Again, this does not impact the assessments that were collected. It is solely the late fees and interest charges that were charged to the resident, and the attorney then collected them as his fee. We also, in this category, for the first year that I'm aware of anyway, have broken down the reserves. At the bottom, transfers to reserve fund general. This is where the $5 per month is going directly into that reserve account for us to have in the future to do the road repairs, gatehouse repairs, roofs, painting, street signs, the normal maintenance, the abnormal maintenance aspect of things as it relates to as they age. We have also added a transfers to reserve fund courtyard, which we are now showing those as separated, where in the past they were pooled and all went into one account. And what the courtyards paid as part of their dues, which is $50 a month, going towards what they end up doing both on a yearly basis and also on a 7-year basis. The yearly basis items are pressure cleaning and the termite prevention. The 7-year basis is collecting for the total repaint of the courtyards. That is being itemized at this point going forward. We're also going to be asking the accountant for the association, Cole & Associates, to actually go back in time and break out what should be in that account that may still be pooled, and therefore separate those, and we'll have that for you by the end of next year in order to better identify what is in the courtyard reserve and what is in the general reserve for the Master Association. The major difference in these categories of the line items is, again, the salaries and wages. In the past, this line item had a large contribution coming from the Solivita Club payroll with the potential impending sale of those facilities to the CDD. We deemed it appropriate to break those out and to make sure that the allocation is being presented correctly as to who does what for the association and who does what for the CDD. The CDD's budget will represent that appropriate allocation as well going forward. Again, the predominant ones here are the membership department, who does all the orientations in conjunction with communications now. They do the orientations for all the members. They sign them up in the gatehouse system. They issue them their transponders and answer multiple questions. And so it was appropriate to break that department into both the association and into the club. Of the repairs and maintenance aspect, we moved some things around this year, predominantly due to the landscape contract. Just as a reminder, the landscape contract was 3 years old. It ended at the end of October. Our new contract with Florilon started November 1. The pricing is increased. What we have also done is break out some line items that parts or all were part of the original contract with Mainscape. We have since changed that going forward, and that was done as a cost savings measure for the association. Anytime you have a vendor perform a service, and if it is subcontracted, you have a tendency to pay a little bit more. We have opted this year for 2017 to handle the mulching and the tall palm tree trimming in-house, as opposed to subbing it out and deal direct with the vendor. And again, this was done predominantly to save money and to better manage the funds of the association. We have increased the landscape replacement number from last year, which was $230,000. This year it's $250,000. That is predominantly geared to take care of the residents. We've had some issues during the course of this year where a number of residents felt some of the common area, whether it be parks or the common areas within roadways within the community, or the neighborhood signage, that had suffered due to us focusing so much on the residents. So while we still want to focus on the residents, we added a little bit of money this year in order to make sure we take care of those common areas that would also benefit the residents as they come and go out of their specific neighborhoods. We have broken down some items. You'll see up at the top where it says C number 65. Well, maybe you can't see it, but it says C number 6529. That was the seed and mulch. We've taken that out of a operating expense. It's still an operating expense, but it's going to be under contract, so we put it in the contract services portion of it. We also did that with the landscape cypress. That is not an open-ended contract, that is a closed contract. So therefore, we also moved that into the contract in order to better manage the dollar amounts. We have also added street cleaning this year, which was due to an agreement with the CDD as far as specifying exactly what is needed in certain areas in order not to foul the drain lines. We have identified that basically the stormwater management system is the CDD's, and it is theirs to maintain the pipes, the concrete structures that are part of the roadway, but it is our issue that we have to keep it clean from fouling up the water distribution. So therefore, we've added some street cleaning in order to keep and maintain the leaves as they fall into the road and keep those in a better condition going forward. We get into our contract areas. These are all representative of the new contract, as well as the association's individual contracts as it relates to going forward with the association managing the palm trimming and the mulching going forward. This reconfiguration just helps us better identify on the financials what is under contract and what slippage, if any, or if we are missing something due to an invoice being late, we can accrue for it at the time we need to. This is a continuation of the contract comparisons. We are also dealing with a new power washing contractor going forward. We've just been able to negotiate some things going forward as it relates to that. That was under Mainscape's contract. We thought it more appropriate to deal with a painting, pressure cleaning company rather than a landscaper for that task. We also have changed the specifications for that procedure to where we will be using chemicals on the initial go-around in an effort to keep things from growing back too quickly. We saw where in just pressure washing without putting the chemicals down, that there was, that there was a regrowth within a month or two, which made it appear like we weren't being very effective. Going forward, that chemical will be used in the first application, which we anticipate being done January, February, March. The second application will take place in and around August, September, October. That will be pretty much a pressure washing with chemicals being used only where necessary going forward. This is the proposed fee schedule for 2017. It's 2 pages, so if you're not on that first list, it's also in your packets and in the mail out. If you're not on that first list, you'll be on this one. One of the things we're also working on for right after the first of the year is coming out with a number of schedules as it relates to the different tasks that need to take place in 2017. We will be identifying the pressure washing schedule. We'll also be identifying a number of the landscape schedules. We're working with Floralon in developing the fertilizations that are part of their scope of work for 2017, as well as a blanket herbicide, as well as the palm tree fertilizations. So a number of those schedules will be coming out right after the first of the year in order to help you identify what's taking place in your area and when. This is as good a spot as any to allow for homeowner questions at this point in time. If you
No, come there.
This may be a dumb question, but
Hold it closer to
I
you.
have,
Hold it closer to you.
what I'd like to have just explained in layman terms is why are there 2 fees? I have a hard time understanding the differentiation between the fee, well, I'm just gonna call them Venetia, between the $138 fee that I pay and the $182 fee that I pay. I mean, why are there 2 fees? I'm thinking this is a combination of the 2 somehow, that they're differentiated elsewhere. I don't know.
The differentiation is tied solely to the lot size, because the landscape maintenance contract that is included in your association dues vary per the lot size. So Venetia, being the smallest lots, have the least amount attributed to their landscape maintenance contract. The larger home sites, it is incremental. But that's the difference. That's the reason for the difference in the
Gary,
fees.
let's talk about club.
HOA and club.
Club and HOA.
HOA versus club.
I'm talking about, yeah, well, it isn't headed HOA, but the fee schedule for Venetia is 138, and I assume that's HOA. And this one here does actually identify as club right now. So what's the difference between the HOA fee and the club fee?
The club fee is tied solely to the club facilities, the swimming pools, the tennis courts, the ball fields. It is your amenity package. It is separated. The association does not own it. It is owned by a separate entity right now.
The breakdown that you gave is a combination of those 2 fees?
No, sir. What the budget you see up there is solely the association. It has nothing to do with the club, and the club is a separate entity from the association, and it is a private entity.
Oh, it is? Okay, so this...
That's for information purposes.
Information.
That's what that was for, sir, yes.
That's helpful, thank you.
Okay.
Sean Burns, Valencia 7A. I have a question about the irrigation. During the spring and summer months, when we get all kinds of rains. I see the sprinklers come on in the middle of the rainstorm, and it doesn't make sense to me. It seems like we could be saving, water.
And that is a major task that we've already talked with Floral on about better controlling the irrigation system that it's been done in the past in order to make sure it takes into account the summer rains. That has created some issues with drainage on the sides of properties that we look at getting rid of. This is something we are working through right now with our new vendor to better control the system and to make sure